Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Thursday, wherever you are. And I've actually had to remind myself this week that today is Thursday, because for some reason I thought Tuesday was Wednesday. I remember trying to take the trash can out because Wednesday is trash day, and I actually paused midway. I was like, is it? And I had to make sure. Fortunately, my neighbor was close by and reminded me it was Tuesday. I had to put the trash out. But happy Thursday to you. So I'm very sure of what date it is today. And of course, we do have an amazing guest coming here to join us today. Breanna Carzoo is here. Joining us, and of course we are celebrating her beautiful book Lou, which if you've not read already, well, we're excited to introduce to you. And of course, if you have, we always go back to our favorite things, don't we? So Lou, coming back to you if you've read already. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I am excited, and of course a big thank you to Breanna for being here with us, and of course a big thank you to Harper, an imprint of HarperCollins, for allowing us to share this beautiful book here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, as always, please let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. And we do have some big events coming up, some amazing events coming up. And of course, we know we have our guest today, Breanna Carzoo. And I'm trying to say the name correctly too. Carzoo, and we'll have her tell us exactly how to pronounce it. Thank you so much for being here. And then, of course, tomorrow we do have Georgianne Irvine joining us from the San Diego Zoo. Excited for that one. And we'll be meeting Tonero as well. And of course, on June 15th, Amanda Davis and Michelle will be here on Storytime with their brand new book, Moonlight Memories. So excited for that one. Then June 3rd, we know where to be. If you're anywhere near the Bay, if you're anywhere near Oakland, you know where to be. Come and join us at Children's Fairyland for the Children's Book Festival. Excited for that one, and of course for all of you to join us. Let us see quickly who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy a wonderful story. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here with us, Nathan and Sarah, and a much better Amanda. Well, that's what we want to hear. Thank you so much for joining in out there in sunny and active Illinois. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you. We love you. And of course, we continue to send you good vibes and hope that you continue to heal. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are prepping for a trip to the East Coast to visit family, but we're excited to take a break with this new book about one of our dogs, Zoe's favorite dog newsletter spots. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for joining in. And yes, I love that. Thank you for being here one more time. Good morning to you, Nathan and Sarah, and of course, Amanda West. Good morning to you, Ari, out there in Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, Megan, good morning to you as well. How is it out there today in Kentucky? Thank you so much for being here. I hope that smiley face means that we're here with big smiles and full hearts, of course. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Chris. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. I am glad that you're here from out in Texas. Well, thank you for being here with us, Chris. And that name sounds so familiar, and we'll find out why very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely love it. And I hope that you enjoy the story that we have for you today. Good morning to you, Pamela, Courtney, and of course, joining us from out there in sunny Natchitoches, Louisiana, Braylon, Chad, Auntie Ann. We do not forget you. Hugs to you. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. Yes, Pamela, Courtney, we are excited indeed. And Breanna is here with us. And I was telling Breanna actually that I want to connect you two because I think you two will hit it off for sure. Two amazing people, and I cannot wait to connect. Thank you so much for being here with us. And it is sunny out there and warm in Kentucky today. Thank you, Ari, for joining in and for sharing that weather report with us. Thank you for being here. And of course, good morning to you, Leslie. How are you doing today? Happy to be here from Ohio. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Leslie. Your name does not sound familiar. I hope that well, if I've forgotten that you've been here before, I apologize, but thank you for being here with us. Welcome to the Storytime community. If you're brand new, thank you for being here with us. Absolutely love it. And let us know if anybody else is joining in with you, but we're glad you are here with us. Leslie, I will not forget your name next time. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Please, everybody, join me today in welcoming our special guest today, Breanna Carzoo. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, love it. Before we even go into anything, I feel like this is a page from Lou.
This was so wonderful, Amanda and Nathan and Sarah. I love that your dog Zoe likes to greet Lou and check out the morning news and sniff and figure out who's been visiting.
Right.
You this morning.
Oh, love it. And yeah, just so thank you for being here too. So excited for this book. Lou, where did the inspiration come from?
Yeah, so I was learning about writing and illustrating for children's books, and I went to a workshop, and I was like crying after the workshop. I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to do this. Like, I'm so far away from this ever being possible for me.
Yeah.
And I was walking and saw this fire hydrant in the middle of a walkway, and it had been peed on. And I immediately grabbed my notebook and wrote, underappreciated fire hydrant. And I just like, after that, I was like, I have to write their story. Like,
yeah,
you know, this fire hydrant is feeling really unappreciated in the world, and dogs aren't noticing what they're capable of. And I think I could relate to that. I could relate to that feeling of just, you know, maybe there is potential, but I'm not seeing it right now.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to write that story and did after seeing Lou.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah, no, it is amazing too. Like inspiration hits at all kinds of crazy times, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that, you know, because you're saying it was a time when you're kind of feeling a little down. And I'm glad that happened. But also, I know that we'll be going into reading the book today, and we'll have more conversation after. But I was also curious as to do you now like see Lou every time you see a fire hydrant? And what if it's a different color?
Absolutely. I say hi to them all. Like, I absolutely walk by going, hi, Lou. Like, I say hi to them all. I've also learned that lots of kids that read Lou have named their local neighborhood fire hydrants, which makes me so happy. Some of them have even stuck little googly eyes on them and say hello to them. So absolutely, I notice them everywhere. And I think a lot of people have told me that after reading and experiencing this story, they have noticed fire hydrants in ways they've never noticed them before. And it's quite fun to notice all the different colors they come in, which The colors actually indicate the strength of a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
So the different colors tell you kind of what strength the water has within the fire hydrant. And unfortunately for Lou, though, they're the weakest hydrant.
Oh. So what did you find out? What colors do you know?
I just remember that red was the lowest rating for fire hydrant strength.
That's so interesting, and I feel like those are the most common I've seen, or at least that I've noticed. I don't know, maybe it's because of the color, but yeah.
Yeah, our neighborhood, they're all silver. Silver here, but yeah, they come in all different colors. I want to say that blue is the strongest, but can't quote me on that. I would have to re-Google it and figure it out. If hydrants are interesting, if hydrants are interesting to anyone watching, like do your research, look up hydrants, learn more about them. They're quite fascinating, and there's all different types. They work differently, and it's fun to learn about them.
Yeah. No, because I heard something too. I can't remember who I was talking to, or maybe it was a show I was watching or something. They say too, like when you turn them on, you don't turn them on full blast, or you don't shut them down. Like there's a, it's the stage by stage.
Interesting.
I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was saying something about pipes bursting or something if you go too fast. Either it was opening or closing. I can't remember what it was, but now I have to look it up and find out. Oh yeah. No, I love the community. They're bringing in our fire hydrants are painted with pictures.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so fun.
Ari and Megan, actually, I'm going to put a challenge out to you. Please send us pictures of those painted fire hydrants. We'd love to see them, and maybe we can show them tomorrow. And then Amanda says blue is the strongest. We learned about this recently.
Amazing. Thank you, Amanda.
I love it. And Leslie, thank you so much for joining in out in Ohio. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And we look forward to many more story times together. And before, we go on further into conversation with Breanna today, we have a book. We have a book to read. And you know how I enjoy it when others come and read to us here on Storytime. So I get to enjoy. Breanna will be reading reading to us today. So please enjoy, Lou, and I'll be back after the book for more conversation. So here we go.
Amazing. So this is Lou. Before we get started reading here, the best part about picture books is that they're told in both words and pictures. And what's really fun about that is you have the ability to tell two different stories, the story that's being told in the words and the story that might happen in the background in pictures. And that one's going to be really important for us in reading Lou. And there's going to be a little orange cat that's pretty important to this story. So keep your eyes out for the orange cat in the story. And so we're going to get started. Lou by me, Breanna Carzoo. Here's our dedication page. The dogs are all looking at Lou here. And the dedication says, to Chris, for seeing greatness in me before I saw it in myself. And Chris is tuning in from another room in our house. Chris is my husband. So we said good morning to him this morning. All right. So we're going to start this story now. Hello, can you see me down here? My name is Lou, and what do you think he's going to say? And in the background, can we see an orange cat? Maybe up in that building? A toilet. All day, every day, one by one. Look at all those dogs in line. What are they about to do? They sniff and twist and twirl and lift and, oh no. What do you think those dogs are going to do? They're doing their dance, getting ready to, well, you know. Oh no, poor Lou. I know I'm useful. It's just that sometimes, see what's going on in the background here. Does Lou know what's happening? I don't think he does. Deep down inside, I feel like there's more in me than what they can see. What's underneath Lou? Is that water? Like I'm full of greatness. I just don't know what it is, and one and two and, or how to let it out. 90% chance of sprinkles today, folks. And can I tell you something just between you and me? I worry sometimes. What do you think Lou's worried about? Does he know what's happening in the background? What if this is all I am, all I'll ever be? What if I never do anything more? What's Lou worried about? Is that him picturing himself as a really, really old man, still being used as a toilet? Important? Oh no, here we go again. One by one, they sniff and, do I see smoke? Twist and, whoa, that feels really weird. Twirl and, wait, what's going on? Lift. Ah, why is everyone looking at me? Oh, I see it now. I know what I have to do. What does Lou have to do? What was happening in the background that needs Lou's help? Whoa, whoosh, woohoo! How did I not see this before? My name is Lou, and I'm a superhero! No peeing, hero on duty. And that's the book. That's Lou.
Yay! Oh, I love this so much. You know, and just like I say too, when prepping for visits, for books, upcoming books, there's always so much reading of them that goes through. So I feel like this is just in this week alone, probably this is like the 50th time or something that I've gone through. I love it. But one thing too that you start off with there. Let's go back to that name, Chris. Why it sounds familiar. You mentioned in your dedication, you say to Chris, for seeing greatness in me before I saw it in myself. How does it feel like to have someone see greatness in you before you see it in yourself?
It's the biggest gift. And I think it's the best gift that anyone can give us, and also the best gift that we can give to other people, and reminding them that we see their potential and we see their greatness even when they don't see it. And so sometimes we can feel down or feel like maybe we can't do something we really want to do. And it is such a gift when someone reflects the very best parts of us back. And I know through the journey of wanting to write and illustrate books, I had told Chris I wanted to do it, and he was like, do it, I believe in you. And I was so nervous, and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
You know, and he always believed that it was something that I could do, and had, you know, reminded me that I had done a lot of big things for myself that I never saw possible. And it's such a gift. And I think it's something we can do for everyone in our lives, is really sharing with them that we see that they're wonderful and are full of potential, and making sure that they know that, and that we share that with them, so that hopefully those moments where we don't feel that we have potential, or we feel doubting, that we can be reminded that we're great.
Wow, I love
and I think everyone has greatness.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate too having that that support system is so important. Having, you know, everybody needs a Chris in their lives, right?
Absolutely.
We all need those Chris's to definitely just remind you. And even when we're talking yesterday, as I was saying, like some of the things that people will say, or say when I saw your post the other day, there are little things that people may say, and you're like, oh, wait, that's a little pat on the back, like, and it gives you a little more spring to go on, right? Yeah, no, appreciate that. And Amanda,
and Lou,
oh yes, please.
I was going to add, in Lou's story, Lou can't figure out what his greatness is on his own. He kind of has feelings. He's like, deep down inside, I get a feeling, but he can't figure it out. And ultimately, he's got firefighters and a dog that help him figure it out, a Dalmatian that he thinks is going to pee on him, but doesn't. and he has a support system and people in his life that helps him figure out what that greatness is. And I think that's so important to everyone's story, is that we need other people. And it's so important to figure out, and surround ourselves with people that treat us well.
Yeah.
And those dogs initially don't treat Lou well, but it's so important that Lou does find people that treat him well and treat him as he's meant to be.
Yeah. And one of the stories I appreciated yesterday, actually, Amanda was saying that she was not feeling too great yesterday, and I think today feeling better. Happy for that, about that. But then she mentioned that, like Nathan and Sarah, her two kids, like really stepped up, like taking charge of things, and it's just amazing to see, like, even that greatness at times. And I'm sure when Amanda is okay, and this is just an example, but I'm sure when she's okay, you think, oh, I have to do everything. But then you realize the moment and times where you're like, oh, wait, others can do this, and they can do it just as well, like. So just talking about that greatness and how much too at times we instill it in others, and we may not see it until a time where it's like, oh, it needs, we need it now.
Yeah, it shows up. It's the moment where it's, you have a chance to really showcase what you're capable of.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I love it. Sorry.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. No, and also you mentioned that you'd wanted to write and you decided you were going to write. So just thinking about that too, at what point had you always known you wanted to write? I know that you've mentioned before that, you as a kid, you'd created picture books for your family and so on. So did you know you'd always wanted to do books, or did this when did this idea really take root?
Yeah, absolutely. Like growing up, I loved books, but I didn't realize that there were people that made them. I didn't realize that was a job. I didn't realize that was something that I could do. So I did it for fun. I'd make, a little picture book version for a birthday card for my sister, or, things like that. But I never saw it as like, oh, you can actually get these things published. It never connected for me, but I did love animation. So I went to school for animation and computer animation because I loved all sorts of animated movies.
Yeah.
And, I loved telling stories, and I loved being able to express a character's feelings and emotions through stories. And it wasn't until after college that I realized and started really paying attention to picture books. I was like, oh, I can use these skills that I learned and actually start, like making my own stories. And I think it took me about 10 years to really take that seriously, take that interest seriously, and say, I really want to try this. I want to see what can happen if I was to put my ideas on paper. And I think so often we tell ourselves no, and we don't let ourselves do the things that we're curious about and we want to do. And at some point I was just like, I really should try this. Why not? Why not?
Why not, indeed? Yeah. No, that's one of the things that I've told myself too. It's like, try. The worst most of the times that happens is that you're back. If it doesn't work, you're back at square one. You kind of just reset. But yeah, thank you for that too. And you mentioned before too, or at least in conversation, you mentioned that you were a shy kid. And so how does one move from a shy kid to being a published author, which is a very public facing, like it's about putting yourself out there?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was really nerve-wracking at first because these books come from really personal places. So while this book is funny, it also contains real feelings about not feeling good about yourself or feeling nervous about what you're capable of. And I think putting your feelings out there in a very public way is a really scary thing. And I think that, like, as a kid, I was very nervous and nervous about opening up, and was the kid who was quiet or went home sick if my teacher was out because I didn't like a substitute. And, I think that what I learned in life is that courage isn't an absence of fear. Like, you can still be nervous and scared to do something, but if you really want it and it matters to you, you'll make the effort. And I think that that's been the case for me, is that I can still be nervous to put my ideas out there, put myself out there, but I also learn, to really trust myself and know that this is something that's important to me, and go for it, even with nervousness.
Oh, I love that. No, like it's I think this is one of the clips I'll be sharing for sure. I love what you said. And we do have a question too from Chad. And I says, could you repeat how the idea of your book came up?
Chad, I would love to. So I left a workshop feeling really down on myself, thinking I would never be able to write or illustrate children's books. And I saw a fire hydrant in the middle of a walkway with a big spot of pee on it. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. I took out my notebook and I wrote down underappreciated fire hydrant. And from there, I was like, I have to write this character's story. I've never seen a story written from a fire hydrant. And
Yeah.
I think people deserve to see this really important public infrastructure in the world that is so overlooked.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to take them for granted, but they're so important in our world.
Yeah.
They're so necessary for our safety.
Right. And yeah, and in our cities where like we need them so close. It is so close together. Like, yeah, water sources for sure. One of the things too that is distinct about Lou is your type of art. You know, like what's your technique? And I know that that I've seen, I think maybe only 2 others that kind of use similar technique, but could you take us through that too?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do something called cut paper collage. So I paint out paper, I cut it out, and I glue it to the pages. So I've got actually some examples here.
Oh, let me.
This is some cut paper dogs. That's the dog you see on the very first page of the book that covers up Lou at the beginning. We've got some poodles. And I do some digital adjustments to them as well. And I've got another one. We can look at these. These are one of the firefighters in the book. Also, both firefighters in the book are women because there's lots of women firefighters, but often you don't get to see them. So it's so important for me to highlight that there's lots of women firefighters. So we've got them too. So yeah, I paint the paper, cut it out. It takes quite a long time. Also, a really fun one to show is Lou in the book is quite big. So you'll see the book is this big, but the original Lou that I made for the book is this big.
No way.
The actual Lou from the book. A really small one compared to giant Lou.
Wow.
So a lot of things digitally come into play in order to make these books possible. So a lot of cut paper collage, but also some digital collage to kind of put everything together.
Wow, no, I love that. And yeah, take care of that Lou too. I think it should be framed somewhere.
I know, it's in a folder right now.
Braylon too has a question, and they're saying, do you have another book idea?
I do, Braylon. I do have another book idea. So I've got another book coming out in 2 months, a little less than 2 months now. It's called Greenlight. And so this is my advanced copy of Greenlight. And so this story is about a traffic light who feels rejected because every time she shines her light, all the cars leave. Because when it's green light, green means go. And so all the cars leave, but she doesn't know that. And so the story's really about the effect of feeling rejected, the feeling rejected and the effect it has on us and how we feel about ourselves. And for her, it's her story of finding her way back to feeling good about herself and wanting to share her light with the world again. So that's Greenlight. That one comes out in 2 months. And here's the back cover.
Yeah.
It says, they stop for red light, they slow for yellow light, but me, it's like they can't get away from me fast enough. So that's a sneak peek of Greenlight. I'm very lucky I got this advanced copy recently so that I can share.
Yeah, oh, I love that. I love that. So there you go, Braylon. Great question. And
Great question.
Ari says today is a great day, I'm saying, for me.
Amazing.
I love that. I love that.
Too.
Thank you for sharing that, Ari. I think that's something to take with us, for all of us to take through the day, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so one of the things too that you've mentioned, I know that you have a dog yourself, right?
We do have a dog.
Yeah, so I'm curious here, had your dog peed on hydrants.
I
And
can't believe you would ask me that. He absolutely does. And as much as we try to stop him, he still does, which is so embarrassing for me because I'm like, what if someone sees us walking and
yeah.
Ozzy, our dog's name is Ozzy. What if Ozzy's peeing on a fire hydrant and someone's like, I can't believe she would let him do that. But he has a mind of his own. And he, unfortunately, because other dogs like to say hello in that very disgusting way, our dog decides that he wants to do the same thing, which also he's in the book.
Oh.
So there's me with one of the world's largest fire hydrants. It's actually in Texas, and that's him standing in front of me. Look how big this Lou is.
Oh, wow. That
It's
is
so cool. And Ozzy's also in the book. It doesn't quite look like him, but this one's design is like Ozzy. So he made the book.
Well, Soraya says, loved this book. It is hilarious. Thank you, Soraya. And then further questions too from Pamela and crew. They say, we noticed your illustrations are geometric shapes throughout your book. Is that your special way of illustrating?
It's interesting. I love that question. I don't know that I thought about it consciously. It's just kind of the style or way that I've created, I think. But it's definitely something people have noticed and told me as well. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's very true. Like very geometric, very kind of basic shapes. And I think a lot of it is cut paper is really hard. And so wanting to simplify details and try to make things, simple and easy to cut out, but also kind of easy to read on the page. And I think for me, I use a lot of white space in the book just so that the elements really pop out and are really able to focus. And it was quite hard illustrating this book because Lou doesn't move. He's bolted to the sidewalk. And so trying to design a scene that things can happen around him, but that he stays the focus of the book was really quite a challenge. It was a puzzle to figure out like, oh, wait, the truck's going to drive by in this scene. So like, what's that going to overlap? And how do the people walk around him and the dogs? It was quite hard. So I think geometric shapes have worked well for me just in simplifying details and trying not to over illustrate or add too many things into the story. So great question.
Yeah, no, and that's a detail that I didn't even think about, that Lou is stationary.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, everything else. Oh, wow. And I think you mentioned already, I mean, you showed us a picture with Ozzy in there, but what's your favorite spread in the book, or do you have a favorite spread?
I totally have a favorite spread. And it's funny because I actually don't like bathroom humor, which is hilarious because I wrote a book where dogs pee on a fire hydrant. But I think it's so funny. And so I will show you my favorite spread. Ooh, I think I just did something weird with the screen, but
no, it looks good here.
Okay. This is my favorite spread. And I think the reason it's my favorite is just because I like so much, like you spend hours and hours and hours sitting at the desk, kind of writing and working on books. And like there was just this moment, I remember it so clearly, where I was sitting and I was cutting out, painting yellow paper and cutting out this giant stream of pee. And I was just like, is this my life? Like, this is really what I'm doing right now? And it was so funny to me that like, I'm trying to find it because I know I have it next to me somewhere. But it was just this like funny moment. And I think the other thing I like is that Lou is kind of telling you some big, deep feelings. And I think what I love about this part, I can't find it, but I tried.
No worries.
But I love that, Lou's telling you these big fears and feelings he has. But this is the moment of the book that's just so funny. And it's like, it's unexpected that this is what you're going to see when you turn the page. And this is what he's going to say, but you also know it's coming. And for me, it's that moment of just humor and funniness, but it's also, for me, it's a chance to laugh at ourselves. Sometimes life is really hard. And things aren't so great, and sometimes things
Yeah.
happen to you that you don't choose and that hurt your feelings. And
Yeah.
you know, for Lou, it's a chance in telling his story to be able to laugh about it a little bit and realize, like, yeah, that's not so kind of other dogs to do, and it's not great in my life, but I can still, you know, find humor in it. And I think for me that this one was the one that just makes me laugh the most.
Oh, I love it. And also just kind of like a follow-up to that. I know you mentioned, we have Ozzy and the Buck. Are there other secret spreads, or like kind of like little odds or something
Oh,
to
absolutely.
you
Yeah,
mind sharing some of
let's
those?
take a tour and find them. So I used to work with someone who had a Great Dane named Boss, and this is Boss.
Love
And
it.
then the orange cat in the back that starts the fire is based
Oh,
off two orange cats that I know that always were getting into trouble. So they were totally in the book. There's also this tiny detail that I really love. So this little kid back here in the gray building at the top, he's actually watering a plant. But the plant is a little wilty. It's pretty hard to see right now, but the plant is a little wilty. But you'll have to pay attention to the plant and see what happens at the end of the book, because maybe they got some other watering help from the
that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one here, the gray building says Oliver's Toys. And when I was writing the book, my sister was pregnant with her son. And
Yeah.
once she had her son, she named him Oliver. And I was working on the final art, and I was like, okay, Oliver's going to get a toy shop in this book. So my nephew has a toy shop in this book. And
Love it.
there's an inside joke about pineapples, which is why there's a little pineapple in the toy store as well.
Yeah.
So those are some fun sneak peeks. And if we go
Thank you. Yeah.
oh, and this dog with the using the wheels.
Yeah.
When I was working on the art for this book, my husband and I took a walk, and we saw a dog that looked like that was using wheels so that they could go on their walk. And I was like, oh, I've got to put that in the book. And so, and we've all seen dogs with the little cones so that they, can recover from, injuries and things. So I wanted to also include that because I thought it was fun. So
I
I think, another one that's really important. You'll notice that when the fire starts, we've got a smoke detector, and the smoke detector is going off to let us know there's a fire. And that's so, so important. As a kid, our house actually caught on fire when I was in 5th grade. And thankfully, we had smoke detectors. My mom heard them. She woke us all up, and we got out of the house, and everyone was okay. So it's so important to have smoke detectors and to test them regularly and make sure they're working. And so obviously, firefighters are so important in my life from that moment, and so are smoke detectors. So
wow,
that is too.
Yeah, that is so important. And too, like I know mine here goes off at times when I'm cooking or trying to cook. That tells you something about my cooking. So when I'll be fanning it, or like try and take it off. So please, if you do that, just remember to put it back. Remember to put back the batteries in there as well. Yeah, no, great advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, related to that, I know that you're in Texas, and is Lone Star the firefighting show? There's what is it? I think it might be 911 Lone Star.
I don't know. I've never watched it.
Not, but it's a firefighting company, and of course there's stories that go around that. So I'll just be curious to see. I was wondering if that was in Austin too, and if any buildings or anything like stand out, but something to check out.
Yeah, something to check out.
And then why Lou? Why the name Lou?
Okay, so my brother-in-law is British, and Lou is another way of saying bathroom or toilet in the UK. So people will say, I'm going to the loo, instead of saying I'm going to the bathroom. But that's spelled L-O-O. And so it's a play on words to have Lou named L-O-U. And so I feel kind of bad actually naming Lou that way. But that is why and how Lou gets his name. So I've also
Yeah.
heard kids say that Lou is a fancy word for toilet, and I think that's a hilarious way of putting it.
I love that. Yeah. Another thing too, like what's what's um what's the best place, or maybe the most surprising, or just somewhere, something maybe that lifted your heart, or something that just kind of that you've seen, Lou?
Oh yeah. There's one where a parent reached out to me after reading Lou, and they said that one night their kid just out of nowhere said, "I think I'm full of greatness," right before going to bed. And I was like, that is like the best hope that I can wish for this book, that someone, kids especially, are reading this story and realizing
Yeah,
that they too are full of greatness. And
yeah.
one of the things I love is thinking about fire hydrants and what we as humans have in common with fire hydrants, because
Mm,
humans' bodies are made up of about 60% water,
yeah.
and so are fire hydrants. And so that's fire hydrants' greatness. And I think it also reminds us we are full of greatness too. But
Oh, oh.
that was one of the best.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And two, just one of the things, like, and I hope to take it to as many places as I can too as I travel. And talking of which, you mentioned that you've lived in so many different places, and even in your adult life you've also moved around quite a bit. How has that influenced how you write, or do you feel there's been influence on your writing from that?
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a direct influence on
Mm,
my work from that. I think because we have these characters that are actually opposite from me. They can't move around the world, and so they're very stuck in place. And I think because of that, sometimes our mindset will feel stuck if we feel stuck. And so
mm,
I think it's really interesting to think of how I've moved a lot in my life. I was born in Washington State, grew up in Connecticut, moved to Florida and Los Angeles and Philadelphia and Austin and San Francisco and all sorts of places, moved around. And yeah, it's just really interesting because I wrote these characters who really can't move. Both Lou
yeah,
and Greenlight are stationary public objects in the world. And so I think what's so important about movement and about being able to look around us and see the world around us, and same with Lou, is
mm,
looking around his
yeah,
world, is that we can learn so much from other people and the world around us. And
yeah,
I think when Lou is feeling so down on himself, he's so focused on kind of how he's feeling or feeling down that he's not noticing the world around him. And
yeah.
I think that's what travel and moving and experiencing people and keeping our eyes open, keeping our
Mhm.
mind open can really benefit us and, make our world bigger. And I think in
Yeah,
both Lou and Greenlight's story, they benefit from getting a chance to get a broader perspective of the world. And I
yeah,
think it's important for all of us. So when anyone has a chance to travel or even go out on a neighborhood walk, keep your eyes open and notice
right.
things, whether it's a
Yeah.
fire hydrant or a traffic light or a beautiful flower or bug. It's so important to notice things and people and our environment.
Yeah, no, I love that. And before we close too, just thinking of, with Lou and now you have Greenlight, is there anything else that is coming up? Or also, where can people see you? Where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for what's coming up, there's Greenlight in 2 months. It releases July 18th, and from HarperCollins, and it's available where all books are sold. And then in summer of 2024, so next year, I've got a book coming out called The Squish. And The Squish is about a little sandcastle who, after their very first squish, tries to build up bigger and taller and stronger because they believe that's how they're never going to get squished again. And
Oh.
you'll have to read the book to see if that works out for them. But I imagine it might not work out in their favor. So that one comes out next summer, and I'm so excited to be able to share both Greenlight and The Squish, and continue to share Lou with everyone. And then as far as finding me, you can find me online on my website, Breanna Carzoo, and I'm on all the social media platforms, so you can find me there. And I've got free coloring pages on my website, and I totally love seeing what people do with the coloring pages. So go check those out too. They're quite fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope to be adding more soon. So right now there's dogs and there's fire hydrants, but there's definitely going to be some traffic light coloring pages coming up on my website soon. So
love it. Yeah. Just thank you for being here with us, just sharing all those just your love for this book. And it is a great gift. And as you can see too, just I think I agree with Soraya, like just hilarious, makes you laugh, but also the great lessons that come with it too. And we hope to see you here many more times on Storytime. Just as we're leaving too, you mentioned, I think I just want to go back on that point that you mentioned with the women firefighters. So just wondered, why was that important? Just one more time, why was that important to you? And also too, in writing and everything else that we do, why is that diversity, that representation important?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what our world looks like. And I think it's important that our books reflect the world that we live in, which is diverse and beautiful. And I think so often these specific jobs like firefighting oftentimes are majority male. And I used to work in the tech industry, a lot of male dominated industry as well. But there's so many women and so many people who might not identify as either man or woman that work in these jobs. And I think it's so important to highlight just the diversity of our beautiful world and making sure that we highlight people who aren't always represented. And so for me, I know there's so many incredible women in firefighting that do not get to be celebrated and be seen. And I thought it was so important to me to make sure that we saw them and we see all of the work that they do and we highlight them in lieu. So I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Thank you for being here. To everybody that joined in, of course, a big thank you today to Breanna Carzoo.
You got it. It's so wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I love everything you do with Storytime. And truly, if you are a first-time listener to Storytime with Mr. Limata, come back and watch more Storytimes. There is a huge archive of them. I've watched a ton while doing final art for my books. Like, check them out. Mr. Limata's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. And that's the other thing too that you mentioned, how you focus with background noise. For illustration. Tell us a little bit more about that. Yeah. Now I'm like, tell us more. Yeah.
Yeah, for writing, I like really quiet. I use noise canceling headphones sometimes, but when doing the final art and I'm cutting out all of the little pieces of paper and gluing them together, it's hard for me to stay focused. I need something to keep my mind busy. And so I like putting on story times with you to keep my mind busy. I also listen to podcasts, sometimes put on TV shows in the background. It'll just keep my mind mentally engaged from like very monotonous, kind of tedious work that comes with collaging paper together.
Wow, no, that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing yourself, your technique, and then also just showing us what's possible, the journey that you've been through, showing us your greatness.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And of course, too, I think we cannot overemphasize the just appreciating, you appreciate Chris and just people like Chris in our lives, people that are there to support us, and the communities that we build, and also just communities that really try to understand everybody in there and make it so everybody can thrive within them. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much to everybody that was joining in. Braylon, Chad, Auntie Ann, Auntie Pam. Thank you, Amanda, Nathan and Sarah, Ari, everybody, Sharon Lungo, Soraya, everybody that is joining in, whether you're joining us live right now, thank you for being here with us. But of course, if you're joining us later on for the recordings as well, leave us a message. Let us know you were here, and we'll love love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Remember, too, you can always find Storytime at your convenience at storytimewithmrlimata.com, and that will lead you into all the other platforms. Thank you so much for being here today. And of course, one more time, a big thank you to our guest, Breanna, who is here, author of Lou, and of course, the upcoming book as well, Green Light. And then we have the third one. What was it?
The Squish.
Squish, yes.
The Squish.
Thank you. Thank you. And Ari says, thanks for another great story time. We love meeting the authors. There you go. Thank you. And please keep sending those recommendations. Let us know what you'd like to see here on Storytime. And of course, if you know authors and creators out there too that we should bring to Storytime, send them our way. Let them know. Please feel free to share. And so we can get to enjoy their company as well. Thank you so much for being here. And Breanna, I'll catch you on the other side.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, that was our special guest for today, Breanna Carzoo, and I will try and say it with a straight face. I think I'll get there one day. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have a lovely day, whatever you're doing today. I hope that, I hope you have the Midas touch today. I hope everything you touch turns to gold for sure. And just remember too to check in on your loved ones. And of course, those that are close, remember to hug them and hold them dear. Appreciate them. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you appreciate them. And of course, too, life throws us curveballs and so many different things happen. But I hope that we can still find a way to get up and keep moving. Thank you so much for being here. This has been our book for today, Lou. Beautiful, beautiful book indeed from Breanna Carzoo. And we were reading this one with permission of the publishers, Harper, an imprint of HarperCollins. Thank you so much for joining in. Please do not forget that we're back with Storytime again tomorrow and another exciting guest, another exciting story. And this time we're meeting a sloth at the San Diego Zoo. Tornero will be here with us tomorrow, and we're learning from them. And of course, the author, Georgianne Irvine. So please come and join us and have fun with us tomorrow. Lots to come. As you know, too, there's the big events that we are looking forward to here on Storytime. Of course, our special guests that are coming through. Today we had Breanna Carzoo, and of course then we have Georgianne Irvine. And then we look forward to June 15 for Midnight Memories with Amanda Davis and Michelle Jing Chan. So come and join us. Mark your calendars. Be here with us. June 3rd, we are at Children's Fairyland for the Children's Book Festival, and I will be hosting that one. So please come on out and have fun with us. And of course, lots of creators will be there too, including a good friend of Storytime, Angela Darton. She'll be there. And then, of course, Mark Barnett, Christian Robinson, Sean Harris, Jen Vedder, so many. Come on out and have fun with us. And of course, one more time, a big thank you to our amazing guest for today, Breanna Carzoo. Thank you so much for being here with me, friends. Absolutely love you. Absolutely appreciate you. Hugs, hugs, hugs from me to you. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for more story time. Much love. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? just can't wait to be hearing. Ooh, story time. Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing.